from the CBS Bay Area studios, this is KPIX 5 News.
Welcome back. It's just about 6:30. Good morning. I'm Devin Fehely.
And I'm Julie Watson. We'll get started this half hour with another check of the forecast. Of course, the main weather headline today, red flag warning in effect this weekend. Hot, dry, windy conditions. The red flag warning in effect for the North Bay Mountains and East Bay Hills. We're looking at wind gusts upwards of 40 miles per hour. Certainly triple-digit heat, though, for some of our inland locations, and low humidity. That all adds up to fire danger, high fire danger. Now, we do have a heat advisory in effect for basically the entire Bay Area with the exception of the coast.
Several fires broke out across the Bay Area yesterday, including this 5-acre blaze that raced across a hilltop in Brisbane. A helicopter was brought in to make water drops as crews built containment lines on the ground. No major damage there. But it was a different story in San Francisco's Bernal Heights neighborhood, where a 2-acre grass fire damaged 4 houses. But thanks to the quick action by a nearby construction crew, everyone got out okay.
Some of the construction crews for this project here went door to door on Anderson, Moultrie, and Andover, which are the streets that we see above us, and started knocking on doors and evacuating people.
And that wasn't the only help that firefighters had. A group of French tourists who were staying in the area pulled one wheelchair-bound homeowner to safety. Firefighters recommend clearing 300 feet of defensible space around your home in case of a fire. But they say if you haven't done it yet, don't do it now.
Well, shots rang out at an outdoor party last night in San Leandro, sending people scrambling. Hundreds ran across a field when they heard gunshots around 6 o'clock last night. Fortunately, no one was hurt, but police still don't know who fired those shots or why. You can see the huge crowd hours earlier. Party organizers had a permit for about 200 people, but more than 600 actually showed up. After the gunfire, police rushed to the scene. From Chopper 5, you can see here more than a dozen patrol cars blocking surrounding streets. They had the park completely cleared by sundown.
A statewide alert for people on public assistance this morning. An EBT outage is set for this weekend. California is upgrading its electronic benefit transfer system and also changing vendors. And a 24-hour shutdown begins at 11 p.m. tonight. During that time, EBT holders cannot buy food or get cash with their cards as retailers switch to new machines. So everyone is urged to plan ahead.
In the Bay Area, it would be in excess of about 200,000 people. Again, in the Bay Area, that it could impact that where they won't be able to use those benefit cards at retail outlets.
Social service officials say once the new equipment is installed, people can still use their existing EBT cards.
Well, the new area codes coming to the East Bay. 341 will be mixed in with the existing 510 area code. The change will affect parts of western Alameda and Contra Costa counties, including Richmond, Oakland, Hayward, and Fremont. Existing 510 customers will keep their same numbers, however.
Immigrant families and their supporters rallied outside a San Francisco courtroom yesterday. They're challenging a Trump administration effort to terminate the Temporary Protected Status Program, or TPS. The program protects an estimated 300,000 people living legally in the U.S. Many come from countries that have been affected by extreme violence or disasters.
This administration wants to tell Americans to fear undocumented people. There's no reason to fear. We're very beautiful people.
Some people at yesterday's rally, like other TPS holders, have lived in the U.S. for more than 20 years. They say it's terrifying to think of potentially being forced to leave their homes.
2 suspects are in custody for a deadly double stabbing in San Leandro. Police say 23-year-old Michael Mendoza Roach and 23-year-old Alex Fernandez were leaving a restaurant at a bar in Washington Plaza Tuesday night when they got into a physical altercation with 2 other men in the parking lot. The victims were stabbed multiple times. 25-year-old Michael Smith died of his injuries. His 36-year-old friend remains in critical condition in the hospital. It's still unclear what started that fight.
What exactly was said, what words were exchanged, what exactly took place, we don't know at this time.
Investigators are looking for witnesses. If you saw anything, you can give San Leandro Police a call.
UC Berkeley is under fire for its response to sexual misconduct complaints. A state audit found that 3 campuses, including Berkeley, Los Angeles, and Davis, haven't been consistent when it comes to discipline. It says the campuses took much longer to punish tenured faculty than staff. The audit also found that the UC system often missed investigation deadlines. UC President Janet Napolitano says she accepts the recommendations and has already made several reforms.
Well, online shopping is about to get a little more expensive for some. The Supreme Court has ruled states can collect state sales tax for just about all internet purchases. Now, until now, it was only allowed if the company also had a physical presence in the state, like Amazon or eBay, which is here in California.
This ruling is very significant because e-commerce includes not just the large vendors like Amazon, but a lot of small vendors that might be selling on eBay or Etsy or just having their own store and selling a few things online.
Now, the last time the court considered this issue was back in 1992. Back then, less than 2% of Americans had internet access. Now, nearly 90% do. Last year, e-commerce sales alone topped $450 billion. The California Franchise Tax Board believes the ruling could bring in another $2 billion a year in online tax revenue.
Some marijuana consumers are stocking up. That's because an impending deadline could put the state's pot supply at risk. By July 1st, all marijuana retailers are required to get rid of any pot products that do not meet state regulations. Packaging is required to include how potent products are, where they came from, and what other ingredients have been added.
You either need to send all that product back to the lab to be tested, or you need to get it off the shelf before July 1st.
Some are saying that once dispensaries clear out that old inventory, there could be a cannabis shortage. An alert for Muni riders: the Twin Peaks Tunnel is shutting down for 2 months starting Monday. That means there will be no service at 2 popular stations, West Portal and Forest Hill. The 2-mile tunnel is 100 years old and it's overdue for maintenance. Crews will upgrade the tracks and strengthen the tunnel so that it's safer in an earthquake. But some riders are frustrated with the 2-month closure.
And that's really infuriating because it's already slow enough as is. We're talking about Muni time. Muni time does not exactly coincide with actual reality time.
More than 80,000 people use the Twin Peaks Tunnel on a typical weekday. Now they must take buses or transfer to BART at the Balboa Park Station.
Well, there's no driver, no steering wheel, and no brake pedal, but this new shuttle could be the future of commuting in the Far East Bay. Yesterday, the Livermore-Amador Valley Transit Authority got the green light to test these autonomous shuttles in Dublin. The idea is to connect commuters from surrounding neighborhoods to transit services like BART, but it will be years before commuters can actually hop on. In that time, the driverless shuttles will go through hundreds of tests.
So this will actually be an on-demand service after we're done testing, where people can come off the BART station, push where they want to go, and this will actually take them to where they want to be, their homes, which are maybe 1-2 miles away.
The Bay Area Air Quality Management District provided, $1 million grant to test these shuttles.
And this weekend, a big Bay Area sporting event includes tributes to people affected by the Wine Country wildfires. NASCAR weekend features 2 races at Sonoma Raceway, and tomorrow crowds are expected to exceed 100,000 for the Toyota Save Mart 350. Right after that race, the top 10 drivers will walk with fire heroes and first responders into the winner's circle.
Well, just one more day until the Pride Parade, but there are several marches leading up to the big event. The Trans March took off from San Francisco's Dolores Park yesterday. More than 5,000 people hit the streets, making it one of the largest transgender events in the country.
I'm marching in support of all my trans brothers and sisters. Even though I myself don't identify as trans, I think it's really important for the visibility and for the unity of our community.
The Pride celebrations continue today with the Dyke March kicking off at Dolores Park at 5 p.m. And one of the most eye-catching symbols of Pride weekend will be on display starting today. Volunteers spent yesterday putting the border in place for the iconic pink triangle on Twin Peaks. They'll fill in the center later this morning with a full acre of fabric. And at Pier 54, they're putting the finishing touches on the floats for tomorrow's parade. KPIX 5 is a proud sponsor of the 2018 Pride Parade, which you can watch our live coverage starting tomorrow morning at 10:30 on KPIX.com.